Ariel Helwani in Toronto for UFC 140 alongside Frank Mir, who meets Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira for the second time this Saturday night live on pay-per-view. And Frank, I know you're born and bred in Las Vegas. I see many layers here. How annoyed are you that you have to deal with this cold?
Not too bad. Vegas gets pretty cold too. Just we don't get the advantage of seeing the snow when it gets this cold. So a bonus. Hopefully it snows. Kids will enjoy it.
Now, what is there for you to gain from fighting Antonio again? Because that was one of the greatest moments of your career, one of the biggest wins of your career. Now you have to do it all over again. Kind of sucks, right?
I guess you could look at it at that point. Also, too, just going out there and getting another win just puts me that much closer to a title shot. Nogueira is still a very tough, scary opponent. So I think that right now, it still moves me positively forward. It's not, it's not the worst situation.
Would you have rather fought someone that you haven't fought before?
Well, I mean, I fight anybody they put in front of me. I guess right now I really don't have those thoughts in my mind because this is the situation at hand. I would be distracted, I think, thinking about what I could be doing, but this is what I am doing.
Now, going into that fight, obviously, and after the fight, there was a lot of talk about how he was dealing with a bunch of different injuries and issues and whatnot. Do you feel as though that has taken away from what you've done, and this is an opportunity that you can sort of really prove that you are better than him?
That's a much more positive way of looking at it. That's pretty much the take I've tried to take on it entirely.
So basically you're saying I was being a bit of a negative Nancy there before.
The first time around, no, I mean, but that's also a very true perspective too. There's obviously risk in it, but then there's also the advantage of trying to, make sure that there is no doubts about the first performance.
When they sort of put that out there, do you think they were trying to take anything away from you?
Well, I think that it was just such shock that they just had a hard time dealing with reality. So sometimes you make up excuses and you look for reasons why they're not addressing the situation at hand.
You've won, obviously, your last two fights in a row, and, to a degree, they were dominant victories, yet they didn't sort of wow the crowd, so to speak. Why do you think that is?
I think that sometimes if you don't get first-round knockouts or submissions, that can be kind of, uninspiring. But at the same time, I think that I'm fighting according to the rules and just trying to make sure I'm being more strategically sound and, and make sure I don't take as many risks and chances where I would have before or end up in bad position.
Obviously, Overeem and Brock are fighting later on this month, but it seems to me like this fight is sort of being overlooked in terms of what it means for the heavyweight division. Do you feel as though win over Nogueira, 3 in a row, quality opponent, then you should be considered sort of the next guy in line after the Brock Overeem winner fights JDS?
No, that's exactly how I figure it. And also too that way. I mean, if I'm there, best case, worst case scenario, I'm right behind the winner. Excuse me, but best case scenario, if they have a bad performance or one of them gets injured, it happens all the time.
And obviously a lot of talk over the last couple of years about your weight. How much do you think you'll weigh going into this fight? And have you tried to do anything different with your body going into it?
No, I pretty much feel like I have it down now the last couple of fights and pretty much stick where I'm at.
Have you done anything differently preparing for this Nogueira as opposed to the other Nogueira? Or are you trying to do the exact same thing and surround yourself with the same kind of training partners?
I did the same thing.
You're not going to tell me, right?
No.
Stupid question. Come on, you're a media guy. You know we have to ask those questions.
No, I understand, but at the same time, it'll be one of those
You don't
things.
have to tell me the answer, right?
All right.
How do you like doing all that stuff, by the way? We see you a lot more cage side. You're working with Jon Anik, doing that kind of thing. How do you like doing that? And are you sort of positioning yourself for a future outside of fighting?
And I am, I'd hope to, I think that makes retirement easier to be somewhat associated with the sport. A lot of guys go into coaching, and I obviously see that as a viable idea. But at the same time, I think the commentating is awesome because, I get to be involved with every single fight of the night, and help educate fans. So I feel like I'm giving back something and enjoying myself. So all around, I look at it as a win-win.
How many more years do you want to fight for?
Yeah, it just completely depends on how my body is. If injuries start stacking up and my quality of training and everything goes down, it's time to talk about retirement. But if you're healthy, especially as a heavyweight, our careers can go on for quite a while.
Thanks, Frank. Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, man.